Welcome to Notes on Geometry, Lesson 10.1, the area of a parallelogram and triangles. In this lesson, we're going to find the area of a rectangle, parallelograms, and triangles. So let's begin with a couple things you probably already know. First of all, the area of a rectangle. We know that the area of a rectangle is the base times the height. And what's interesting to note is that the area of a parallelogram is the same thing. It's also the base times the height. And the only difference now between these areas, the formulas are the same, but your base and remember your corresponding height is always perpendicular. So when you find the area of a parallelogram, remember that here's your base and then your height is perpendicular, and I hope you can see that here in color. All right, so your height has got to be, the altitude has to be perpendicular to the base. Okay, so it says here altitude is the segment perpendicular to the line containing the base. All right, so it could look something like this, where your base and your altitude, or you can have it flip sideways, and we could call this your base, and then your altitude is an extension. In this case, it's extended outside of the parallelogram, and it's right here, okay, up to the other side. All right, so let's take a couple problems. Let's start with number 1. Okay, find the area of the parallelogram. So we're going to use the base of 5 with the corresponding height of 4. And you can see that probably better in your notes. Let's try to zoom in on that. Okay, so we'll have 5 times 4. So your area is 20 inches squared. All right, on your second problem, okay, in this problem you have a base of 2, and the height is 3.5. All right, so remember your height has to be perpendicular. Okay, so the 4.6 is just a decoy. So 2 times 3.5 is 7, so it's 7 inches squared. All right, let's go to the challenge problem. All right, your challenge problem states that the area of a parallelogram is 24. All right, so let's sketch a parallelogram. All right, so your area equals 24. The height is 6. Okay, so we could put the height coming down like this. Okay, find the corresponding base. All right, so let's call this the base. So we know base times your height of 6 equals 24. So I think you can see where this is going. Divide both sides by, this is 6b equals 24. Divide by 6, so b equals 4. Okay, on the back. All right, the area of a triangle. The formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, here's your base, and again your height has to be perpendicular. So let's look at example 2a, find the area of the triangle. So it's 1/2 your base of 12 times your height of 5. All right, so remember when you take half of this, just take half of 12 first, which is 6, times 5, so your answer is 30. Okay, so half of 12 is 6, and so 6 times 5 is 30. Or you could multiply 12 times 5 and get 60, and then divide that in half. All right, let's go to the last example with your triangle. Okay, so find the area of the triangle, so it's 1/2. Now your base is 10, and your corresponding height is 6.4. Okay, now this 4, again, is just a decoy. That's the extension of the base. So we're not going to use that 4. That's there just kind of maybe to trick you. So when we multiply 10 times 6.4, that's 64, And then we're going to take that times 1/2. That'll give us 32. All right, let's go to the area of an isosceles right triangle. Okay, let's draw that. Here's an isosceles right triangle. Remember, it's an isosceles right triangle, so the area is 98. Find the length of each side of the triangle. All right, so remember it's a 45, 45. Okay, so this is x and this is x. So your area is 1/2, your base is x, times the other x. All right, and we know that's going to equal the area of 98. All right, x times x is x squared equals, so we have 1/2 x squared equals 98. Let's multiply both sides by 2/1 to get rid of that fraction. So 98 times 2 is going to be 196. So x squared equals 196. Take the square root of both sides. And we should have memorized, with the square root of 196, we should have that memorized. That's 14. If you don't have it memorized, plug it into the calculator. Okay, let's take a look at the challenge problem real quick here. All right, this is a parallelogram. So let's take and find the area of the parallelogram. It's base times height. So it's 10 times 7, so it's 70. All right, so now that I have the area, I think I could use this now as your base and this now as your height. Okay, so we know that if I use 8 times h, 8 times h, that's going to give me the same area because it's the same parallelogram. So 8 times h has to equal 70. Okay, and divide by 8. So h is going to equal 70 divided by 8. That's going to give you, let's use a calculator here. We could leave it like that if we wanted. We'll get this thing turned on. 70 divided by 8 is 8.75. All right, and that concludes your notes for lesson 10.1. Thanks for watching.